Welcome back to the Holistic Human Design channel and Emotional Mastery channel. Last video was all about emotional authority, and today we're going to talk about the rest of the authorities. The reason that I had emotional authority as its own video is A, because I have emotional authority and I feel like I can speak to that most, and B, because the solar plexus is huge in this transformation that is coming in 2027. There is a prophecy of a change and a shift that we're going more towards this passive brain. The way that we experience our emotions is going to be very different. The children that are coming in will be experiencing emotions very different. And so I do think that it is on us as the potential parents of those children to really understand and be in right relationship with our emotions so that we can then guide them and be able to support them in a more beneficial way, as opposed to not having any information and then, of course, passing things on as they go. So this video is going to be the rest of the authorities. And if you missed the first video, the first and second video, the first video goes over what I call your big six. So we do talk about type, strategy, and authority, basically what it is, right? So your authority in human design is your decision-making strategy, I guess, your decision-making beacon, GPS. It helps you decide within your system. And the core piece of human design, which is what pulled me in as a holistic health coach, is the emphasis on the body versus the mind, right? The emphasis on intuition versus logical thinking. We are going from a logic-based being into a more passive right brain-based being. And so part of this is really getting into your body. And the easiest way to experiment and the sort of step-by-step tools that human design gives you is your strategy and authority, type, strategy, and authority, variables, which will be on a whole other video. But we're talking here about your authority, which is how you can come into your body to make decisions that are most aligned with you. So as a quick recap, if you do have emotional authority, go listen to the emotional authority video. If you don't have emotional authority, but say you're in relationship with an emotional authority, also go listen to that video because it'll give you an idea of what they're going through and also give you tools as a non-emotional being. So as anyone with any of the authorities that we're going to talk about today, understanding and permission to sort of step away, right? And to listen to your own authority and your own body, knowing that you, as a non-emotional being, have an undefined or open solar plexus, and you are taking in and amplifying the emotions of the emotional authorities. And again, it is on their job to be in right relationship with their emotions because it is impacting so many around us. So the next authority that I'm going to talk about is sacral. So if you have a sacral authority, it means you're a generator, a pure generator, or a manifesting generator, pure manifesting generator, which really just means you do not have a defined sacral or solar plexus. So that sacral, I'm going to pop it right here. That sacral is the center that's second from the bottom. This is life force energy, workforce energy, sexuality, fertility. It is all this housed within this section in your body, right? In your chakra and your centers. And this makes you a generator. Only generators have this, but generators are 70% of the population. So we're sort of running the world, if you want to use that term. It's so important for a sacral being to be lit up by what they're doing. Now, of course, we have obligations, we have jobs we have to go to, but finding some time in your day to do something that lights you up, whether it's an hour before bed, whether it's your morning routine, something that keeps that sacral going, because you do have an endless source of energy, but you will burn out if you're not using it on something that excites you. The beautiful thing about the sacral, when people say follow your gut, listen to your gut, if you have a sacral authority, this is your truth, and it comes and it speaks through you. So if you are raising a generator child, or if you are a generator and when you were younger, you might know or remember people telling you to use your words, like stop making noises, right? Because generator, again, the sacral speaks through you, and like grunts and groans and sounds. And you can tap into that in any given moment. So it's so important to have people around you ask you yes or no questions. This is the easiest way for a sacral to get their truth. So when you ask open-ended questions like, I have emotional authority, but I'm still manifesting generator. So that sacral response is something that I need to take note of and then pull it through my solar plexus, my emotional authority. But if somebody asks me, where do you want to go for dinner tonight? If you are in relationship with me, you know I hate that question. I would rather you choose because I don't know. There are so many options. Like, what are you giving me? But if someone's like, do you want to get pizza tonight? Like, it will literally speak through you. Do you want to get sushi tonight? Do you want to go get tacos? Right? Like, it'll speak through you. Now, if you have a sacral authority, if you're a generator with sacral authority, what I've noticed and what people have relayed to me as well, that when it's a sacral yes, your body will move you to, it's like a physical response. Your body moves you towards the thing. So I have a friend whose partner is a sacral generator, and if she asks him to take out the trash or something and he does not move, his sacral doesn't want to do it. His sacral doesn't have the energy for it, right? But if you ask somebody if they want to go to the movies and they're already moving their body to like put their shoes on, or they're like, where do you want to go? What do you want to go see? Right? Like, you'll find that sacral response. So it's really important, if you're a sacral being, if you have a sacral authority, to have people around you ask you yes or no questions. It's a lot easier to get your sacral response out of that than open-ended questions. The next one is going to be the spleen. So you will not be a generator. If you have a splenic authority, you will either be a manifestor or a projector. And the spleen is the center for intuition, for health, for survival, for fear. So when you are the splenic response, it's one hit, it's like a whisper, it's intuition. It does not repeat itself. It's not going to get louder. So it's up to you to really be in right relationship with your body, be it sleeping right, eating right, really having that health in your body so that you can really tune into that. Now, I had Alex Mufson on the podcast last November, I believe it was, and she had a beautiful analogy when it came to splenic authority versus emotional authority, because before human design split off into a 9-centered being, we were 7-centered beings, and the solar plexus and the spleen split off from one center, right? And we made the 2 centers. So when you think about it, the emotional authority has to ride the wave to come to a conclusion, and then it makes an answer. Well, the spleen, and Alex described this as like, you're landing the plane. You don't know why you're landing the plane, but you just know that you have to land the plane. And then the why will come later, but you have to trust that intuitive hit in the moment. And the spleen will always be in survival mode, right? We're not always stressed. We're not, rather, our culture, we're chronically stressed, right? But we're not actually in survival mode in the sense of like, we're not running from tigers. We're not in this fear-based survival mode. We are in our mind, right? Because our mind thinks that all of these are really impacting our ability to survive. But in reality, we're creating stress and we're feeling it in a way that is not accurate to the actual situation. And I'm not downplaying any sort of stress or issues or lack of getting your primary needs met, because those are survival based, right? But the spleen runs off that survival based instinct. So anything that you get a splenic response from is going to be in response to that. There's an example that Ra gives in one of the books. I can't remember which one. And he talks about going to like an event or a party or a function, and somebody that you know really well walking up to you, and your spleen is like we have to go. No, you don't know why, right? And if you listen to that, then maybe you make an excuse, you get away, you move the other way so that the person doesn't see you, whatever the case may be. And then later you find out that person actually had the flu. And had you not excused yourself, had you not listened to that fear, survival, health-based response from your spleen, you would have gotten it too, maybe. So sometimes the spleen doesn't make sense, but our intuition never really makes sense, right? Even when we're listening to our body, point blank, period, when we are moving into our authority, the reason that it's so difficult in the beginning is because we've been so conditioned to be logic-based. So switching from logic-based into our body feels uncomfortable. The next one is ego manifested and ego projected. And this is when the heart is either connected to the throat, which makes you ego manifested, or the heart is connected to the G center, which makes you ego projected. And all this is the ego is the center for willpower, for self-worth, for money. So this is really listening to those I want statements, right? This is all centered around love. It is all centered around your worth. It runs on a pulse. So it's going to be moving, and it's important to rest. Don't overcommit. Don't make promises you can't keep, right? But really listening to those I want statements. This literally is all about you. And it can feel selfish, but that is how you will know what is for you and what is not for you. So really tuning into that. And then we have self-projected, which is where the G center is connected to the throat. This means when you have self-projected authority, you are speaking out loud, and you will know your truth based on what you are speaking, what you are saying, what is coming out of you. So it's so important to either record into a phone, maybe you just speak out loud to yourself in your own privacy. Maybe you find a friend that is a sounding board that will not try and give you advice or opinions, where you just have a safe space to be like, hey, I just need to listen to myself, right? And be able to come to that conclusion. Then we have mental projectors, environmental projectors. And this does not mean we're making decisions out of the mind. This means that our head is connected to our throat and nothing is defined below. What this means is your environment, sort of like reflectors, your environment is so important to you, right? If you have an undefined or open G center, if you're in the wrong place, you're with the wrong people. So really noticing the people and the place that you're with and tuning into that and seeing if it feels right for you. This is how you will best be able to make your decisions, by coming into your body and feeling. And with any of these, really a great practice is if you can spend like 5 minutes a day just coming into your body. If meditation is part of your practice, maybe journaling, or if you're a sacral, having somebody ask you yes or no questions, just coming into your body and understanding what that feels like for you, right? Where in your body do you feel it? What does it feel like? What does a yes feel like? What does a no feel like? You can even do some sway testing, right? Just to sort of like getting familiar. But the more you can come into your body, and I think that we all know that moment that we have that truth. We know what that feels like. It's so easy to talk ourselves out of it. So easy for the mind to come in and be like, well, you should be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that based on XYZ, or somebody comes in and you second guess yourself. But that first, that we all know, wherever you feel it in your body, however you feel it in your body, we all know that feeling. I know you know that feeling. So taking note when that feeling happens. If you have a journal, journal it, journal every day, journal, or even just note it in your phone. Like, I feel like I want to say yes, but I'm going to say no, right? And just see what happens, see what plays out. Listen to that first intuitive hit from wherever it is in your body and see what happens. And if you are a reflector, technically you don't have an authority because you are completely open. So it's really, really important for you to wait that 28 days, because what happens is through the transits, because you're lunar beings, right? Through the movements of the moon, when it's activating different things in charts, you'll be able to experience all the other authorities, right? You'll be able to experience what an emotional authority feels like when the solar plexus is lit up for you, when the sacral is lit up for you, when the spleen's lit up for you, right? You'll be able to have all these experiences and then come back at the end of those 28 days to make that decision. Sometimes it takes longer than 28 days, right? Just like having an emotional authority. Sometimes it takes a year for you to move through that wave over and over and over to get your answer. And so some of these can be really frustrating. And even the ones that seem cut and dry, like your sacral, a lot of people really struggle listening to it and trusting it. And it comes down to a whole other amount of factors. How much you're leaning into your mind? What are you conditioned with? What are you nourishing your body with? Are you aligning? That's why those variables are important, right? Are you in the right environment? Are you eating the right foods? Are you properly motivated? Are you leaning into your perspective, your view, right? So there's a whole bunch to it, and we'll definitely get into it in more videos. This is the second part of the authorities video. Let me know in the comments what your authority is, if you have any questions. Holistic Human Design Academy is a program that I run where we go through all of this. We align you with your type, strategy, and authority. We align you with your human design. We align you with your astrology, with the gene keys. We talk about the variables, energetics, getting to the body, health, and it's all designed to support you in coming into your body, coming in right relationship with your body, because now more than ever, we need to be in our body. There's so much that's unpredictable. There's so much that's confusing. There's so much that we just don't know. There's so much that's challenging right now. And when we can be rooted in our body, no matter what is thrown at us, we know what that feels like and we can come back to and we can take care of it. And when you're rooted in your body so strongly, this becomes more clear. This gets in the way less. Yes, it will still get in the way. I think we're human. It will get in the way, but it's more powerful when you are in right relationship with your body.